is shedding its reputation as a defense laggard with a massive cash injection into the military. $14 billion in new spending hits the book today. Department of National Defense is confirming that Canada has officially hit NATO's 2% of GDP target. Full compliance status is now achieved for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. The government wants to resilient criticism from Washington and secure its seat at the table during the high-level opposed NATO strategy talks. Reaching their benchmark prevents potential US defense tariffs and cements Canada as a reliable partner in the North Atlantic security architecture. Trade tensions are boiling as Washington threatens to let North America trade pact expire. A 1st July deadline is looming. US Trade Representation Jensen Guerrero is warning that all issues will likely not to be resolved by the review date. A total negotiation delay is the current market expectation. The US is using the national security tariff on the Canadian steel aluminum to force concessions on the dairy and the digital service taxes. The outcome of this review dictates the stability of $1.3 trillion North American trading bloc for the next decade. Moscow is threatening unintentional incidents as the Canada ramps up its non-military footprint. Zero communication channels remain between the Ottawa and Moscow. Russian officials are accusing Canada of aggressive militarization in the high north. The Canadian Armed Forces are maintaining Operation Nanook monitoring missions. Canada needs to counter increasing Russia-China cooperation along the Northern Sea route to protect its sovereignty claims. Maintaining a physical presence in the Arctic prevents a sovereignty vacuum that rivals could exploit for the resource extraction. Pragmatism is replacing hostility at the Ottawa and the New Delhi quietly mandate broken relationship. 180-degree turns in the diplomatic tone in evident today. Prime Minister Mark Carney is prioritizing economic engagement over the past political disputes. Renewed trade talks are currently back on the agenda. Canada wants to diversify Indo-Pacific trade away from China and tap into India's massive consumer market. A successful reset allows Canada to balance its specific interests while securing a key ally in the global south. The Middle East war is forcing Ottawa to activate emergency fuel conservation measures. 10.1 million barrels of global supply are offline today. IEA is tracking new Canadian work from home incentives to lower domestic oil demand. Nationwide fuel monitoring is currently in effect. The government seeks to shield consumers from record prices caused by the Iranian-Israel conflict. Reducing domestic consumption allows Canada to export more crude to allies, increasing its influence as a global energy bank. Canada is weaponizing its dirt to break the global grip of China's rare earth dominance. 197 new jobs and the $151 million in GDP are coming to Nova Scotia. Provincial authorities are approving the processing of the 3 million tons of the stockpiled ore. Strategic mineral status is now applied to the 20 key elements. Ottawa wants to build an end-to-end North American supply chain for the EV batteries and the defense tech. Controlling these mineral choke points gives Canada massive bargaining power in future trade negotiations with the US and the European Union. Fear of foreign interference is driving Canada to build a defense fortress against around its AI data. A surge in cyber attacks is targeting government servers. The Treasury bond is mandating that all agentic AI systems must be hosted on Canadian soil. Total data isolation is a new policy for critical departments. Policymakers fear that the authentication states are using the AI to identify vulnerabilities in Canada's infrastructure. Tech sovereignty ensures that Canada's optical system remains functional even if the global internet hubs are compromised. Melting ice and global war are turning Canada's Arctic water into a crowded shipping lane. A record number of cruise and cargo ships are entering the Northwest Passage. Coast Guard is reporting spike in unauthorized maritime traffic. Full-time surveillance is currently active. Shippers are fleeing the Suez and Panama canals in the search of safer, shorter routes between the Europe and Asia. Asserting controls for these waters allows Canada to collect transit fees and enforce environment standards on global shipping. Canada is joining a global hunt for sanctioned tankers hiding in North American waters. All nations are coordinating via Caribbean South Security Forum. The Royal Canadian Navy is assisting in tracking ghost ships carrying illicit Russian oil. Zero tolerance enforcement is the current directive. Ottawa wants to cut off the revenue streams funding foreign wars and prevent environmental disaster from the uninsured vessels. Leading this maritime crackdown reinforces Canada's role as a global enforcer of international law and trade sanctions. Ottawa is slamming the door of advertiser capital to protect national security. Three major acquisition bids were blocked this week. The Investment Canada Act is to be reject foreign state-owned enterprises. A net benefit review is now mandatory for all tech sector deals. The government aims to prevent hostile actors from gaining control over the Canadian intellectual property and critical infrastructure. Protecting the domestic tech bases ensures Canada remains a secure environment for the high-value Western investment.